Welcome, folks, and welcome to another edition of Champions League Digest coming to you on our YouTube channel, Dissects. I have, we're talking about the Champions League, and I have two great guys who are going to, be dissecting the Barcelona Inter Milan preview. Of course, pulling their teeth, doing their 1-on-2, and the chances of both teams talking about Barcelona and Inter Milan. Barcelona are coming freshly from winning the Copa del Rey against Real Madrid, Clasico final, and that's to be a good booster for them ahead of this encounter. I have two guys, who of course I scavenge on Twitter. Of course, two great Barcelona fans. I have Charles and Toby in the studio. We've been talking about Barcelona, lots of talking points. Remember, it's just two sides of a coin. We have two sides, another side who have not won it before, talking about Arsenal and Inter, Arsenal and PSG. And of course, those who have won it, but for a longer time, talking about Barcelona and Inter Milan. So let me welcome my guests. I have Charles. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And I have Toby, who said he has soft spot for Arsenal. But that's by the way. So let's put our teeth to it. The Champions League so far, just an overview of not this preview, but overview of what has happened. Your downs, your ups, your highs, your expectation. Did you expect some teams to get to the final? Just your overview, Charles, about the Champions League so far.
So about the Champions League so far, Barcelona has been exceptional, except for two games, the Monaco game and the Dortmund game, which they lost. So, but apart from those two games, they've been so well, they've been so good, and I just feel like we are going to the final regardless, because they've been everywhere. Football Club Barcelona is crazy this season. You can't rule out the fact that statistically they are very, 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 very good. They've scored more than 150 goals already this season. They've won the Copa del Rey versus Real Madrid. Won Real Madrid also in the Super Copa final. They've been exceptional, man. And their defensive record states that they have one of the best wingers in the world, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha. They have the best midfielder for me, Pedri. Is exceptional. And Hansi Flick, the way he set up his team is so good. The defense is actually decent. Not decent, they are perfect. Not like really perfect, but they are good. Lewandowski is reborn. Like, nobody believed that Lewandowski of last season would give us like 40 goals already this season. And they've been so well. And I just believe that we have the chance of winning.
And Toby, let's just before we talk about this preview, let's take like a scan of what has happened in the Champions League. Were you disappointed that Bayern could not do get to the semi-final? They were, of course you can see company just came from Burnley, but with the form of Kane, a lot of goals. Were you disappointed that they didn't go far to the semi-finals in the Champions League?
As for Bayern's history, Bayern's pedigree, one could say yes, I'm disappointed. But with what they have at their disposal, it's not more like a disappointment. It's more like an expectation. Like, I knew they were not going to get to the final because, no disrespect to company, he's intelligent, but he doesn't have he doesn't have what it takes in his head right now to take a certain Bayern team that is currently not syncing with each other to a Champions League final. The fact that they haven't top of the Bundesliga is, it's quite exceptional to me. Like, he's doing a good job so far. But with what they have now, one shouldn't expect that this current Bayern would be winning the Champions League. It's just quite unfortunate that he falls into the time Kane joins them. But then, so far, I think they've been up to what I actually expect of them. But I don't think they have what it takes to get to a Champions League final.
And so let's go straight to the talking point. Barcelona, Inter Milan. You mentioned Lewandowski, how he has been very key to anything Barcelona this season, but unfortunately he's going to miss the first game, the first leg, possibly the second game. Are you not disappointed, but are you not? Are you confident that maybe Ferran Torres can come in, deputize and be a very key part? With Lewandowski has scored a lot of goals because if you remove Lewandowski goals from your goals this season, you guys will not even be top of the Bundesliga, top of the La Liga. So, are you confident without Lewandowski ahead of the clash?
Yeah, I'm confident without Lewandowski. Not as confident, but I'm really confident with Ferran Torres as our starting nine because this year he's been so exceptional. Like, I think he has scored more than 10 goals. the 2025. Like with him, with Daniel Mo back, he's going to be. I feel like we have a chance. Ferran Torres.
And talking about your defense, you guys have started conceding, and it looks like there will be no bad day in the first leg as well. And Inter Milan who block shop, it's like they close their channels, and they have, of course, they will be missing Maicon as well, but of course Turan, but they have the Barella, of course Martinez. Are you confident that with the shaky defense recently from Barcelona, is Bade going to be missed in the first leg?
Well, Bale is definitely going to be missed, irrespective of our opponents. That's the first fact. And then, secondly, looking at Inter's fast attack, and then I don't know if I should call him Flick's choice, Gerard Martin. To me, he's more of a very slow defender. He barely attacks. Once he gets the ball, just hands over to any available option. He barely push an attack like Balde does. So definitely Balde will be missed, but as we all know, Flick would still want to play Gerard Martin at that position, of which I know Inter would most likely want to explore, like Madrid did in the Copa del Rey final. So I believe that is one loophole that we need to be very careful about, because what I would just need Barca to do in that match is don't concede first. Because if Barcelona concedes first, then that is a major problem. But if we score Inter first, definitely they would want to make an attempt to score back. So even if they don't come out completely, there will be more of an advancement other than when they are leading or when we are square. You get? So when they make advancements, that is the opportunity for Barca to explore, because it will definitely be clinical. That match, Barca will hold the ball. Barca would definitely. So Inter want to play on get the ball, push a quick attack, make an attempt, you get the goal, you fall back. You lose the ball, you fall back. So definitely we don't expect Barca to do the ball playing, control the game and everything, but they just need to be, Frankie and Pedri needs to be on top of their game, make sure there are no errors in the midfield, create reasonable chances, and as always our attackers have been clinical, except when Ansu Fati played, where there were so many shots and just one goal. So the fact that they've been clinical so far, Ferran Torres always turning up at clutch times, getting the goal when Barca needs him to get the goal. So I believe definitely it's more likely going to be like a both team to score game. Both Barca and Inter are going to score, but I see Barca scoring better goals if they cover the loophole of that left back. Honestly, if it depends on Flick's approach to the match. If he wants to play a proper attacking football, honestly, if it's up to me, I prefer he plays Gerard Martin. Except something happens to
They
share.
have to division start section.
So pick up.
Right, so it depends on how Flick wants to approach the game. If he wants to push the proper attack that he usually does, then I think Hector Ford should be a better option at the left back, because he's more of an attacking, a proper wing back, unlike Gerard Martin, who doesn't launch attack. So when they launch attack together, it's just an instruction of when you lose the ball, fall back, and then the wing backs, like Rafinha usually do, you come back to assist, and then the centre back will always try to fill in the little error he makes during defense. So if they go like that, we have a higher chance of scoring them first, and then make sure whatever error you make, you cover for them as fast as possible, because I expect Inter to play a very fast game. Immediately you get the ball, 1-2, boom, you make an attempt for goal. If they score, good for them, and if they don't, they fall back. So if Inter, like I said earlier, if Inter should score before Barca in that match, it is going to be a very big problem. Very, very big.
But Charles, let's talk about the form of both sides. Of course, both sides have played more than 4 games since the quarterfinals. Barcelona on a good front, won the Copa del Rey against Real Madrid. For Inter, they are another fortune in the league. They've lost their last 3 games. Won Copa Italia against AC Milan, the last 2 games, and recently against Roma, and they've dropped out of the top of the Serie A with 3 points. Napoli are now leading. Is it a blessing for Barcelona? You guys are come with loads of confidence. And for Inter Milan, who we know have the best defense in the Champions League so far, are you confident that your form, is good enough because of course they are coming from a bad domestic form.
Football is kind of tricky and you can't really predict how it's going to turn out. But for me, it's going to be a good start for us because Inter they have lost their last 3 games. Like the last 4
Not
games,
to
no to but without we're also missing Lewandowski, so that's 1 minus 1, 1 plus 1 minus 1 minus 1. So yeah, sorry about that. And also they've lost their last 3 games, and we've actually won like our last 3 games, which would be a booster for us. We won Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final, amazing game, and I feel like Inter are going to come back. They are not going to they're not going to relax and say they want to keep losing be on that losing streak. They want to come with everything they have against Barcelona, because they have if they have a chance of winning a trophy this season, they have to like focus on the Champions League and also the Serie A. And right now, like you said, 3 points below Napoli in the league table, league ranking, and they want to make sure they have that game so hard for Barcelona. So they want to come with everything they have, with all their key players, everybody killing themselves just to get that win at the Montjuic Stadium.
And so let's talk about the key players. Before the Copa del Rey, people have talked about Lamine Yamal, he need rest, blah blah blah. But he turned up again with 2 assists in the Copa del Rey. We look at Ferran Torres, debutizing well for Lewandowski. Rafinha continue his great form. On the flip side, Thuram has been a key part for Inter Milan, but he's out injured. But we have Martinez, we have Barella. Who is the key players that, of course, that will be a game changer ahead of the first leg?
Well, let me start with Inter. We all know that Lautaro Martinez is more like a match-deciding player who can make a whole lot of difference in a match for Inter. So what I see in that match for Inter is Martinez is going to be so lonely at the front. So lonely, because like I said earlier, they would want to sit back, win the ball, and then make a quick attack. So they'd have to make their decisions as fast as possible, and it's going to be very difficult for Lautaro Martinez to pass through the likes of Martinez and Kobasi or Araujo or whoever it is that is in that centre back, because they are going to be solid. And we still need to remember that Kundi is also there to cover for whoever that is going to come to assist. So what I see basically is we exactly can't see the direction through which they'll be pushing the attack for now. But what I see is if they win the ball, they would want to push a quick attack towards our left back, because as much as I know Inter, they love to explore their opponent's weakness so far. So what they would want to explore that, at least for their first 4-5 attempts, they would want to explore that part and see how much of it they can break, because it's going to be very difficult to break the other part of the defense. So they want to explore that part and see how much of it they can break. That's why I said Barca needs to be top notch. They must not lose the ball, especially in the midfield, and then any attempts they get towards the post should be hit. That's even if it is not going to be a goal, then it means it is the goalkeeper's exceptional talent that is keeping it out. So they need to focus, keep their game keep themselves on top of the game, control the game, make sure they maintain the tempo. And there's this issue with Barca. I don't want to go through pressure, because over time Barca players have proved that they can handle pressure. The likes of Lamine Yamal, Pedri, Kubasi. Yes, they are still young, not much experience, especially in the Champions League. But on the big stage, they've proved themselves over time. Lamine Yamal played in the Europa and the Euros final, won. It was exceptional for Spain. But then this is the Champions League, a very different stage. This is, if you look at Barca starting 11, literally all of them, this is their first semi-final in their career, UEFA Champions League semi-final. So I'm assuming that they'll be able to handle that pressure based on what they've been doing. But there's this issue with Barca lately. When it gets to the 70th minute, they kind of reduce their intensity and how they control the game and how they keep the ball, which played out in the Copa del Rey final as well. But Inter could as well, on the other hand, try to contain the pressure of the first half and then early second half, and then want to explore the towards the end of the game. If they can survive the first half without a goal, and then early second half also without a goal, there are chances that when they pump out to attack late in the game, they might hurt Barca on the other hand. So The key players for Barca's end is just Rafinha to remain clinical. Whatever chance you get, convert as much as you can. Lamine Yamal, the Treble stuff he does may likely not work because Inter would definitely play low back. So he just needs to be creative. Whatever outside shot is going to play needs to go towards the post. That if it is, even if it doesn't go in, we know okay the keeper was exceptional to keep it out. So everybody just needs to be clinical. Ferran Torres, disturb them as much as you can at the back. Even if you can't receive so much of the ball, disrupt their organized defense. Jump in, just make sure you make space for others to cook up something.
And Charles, if you look at stats, it looks like Barcelona are doing well in terms of stats. They've not lost in some matches, all matches against Inter. Barcelona have scored more than 2 goals at home, this season in the Champions League. So it looks like, everything is pumped for them. But on the flip side, is it going to be another, treble season for Flick? He has won it treble at Barcelona, at Bayern Munich. While Barcelona, is it going to be a case of too many priorities? Of course, they won the Copa del Rey. The league is there for them. The Champions League. Do you think he's going to prioritize any of the two, or he's going to go all out for the two?
No, for me, he would like to go out all out for the two. We are leading in La Liga with 4 points ahead of Real Madrid, and right now we haven't won the Champions League since 2015. That's like 10 years ago. So for me, I would love him to prioritize the UCL ahead over the La Liga, even though we have more chances of winning the La Liga. But right now, he should prioritize he should prioritize La Liga and make sure that what happened in Dortmund away doesn't happen. Because when we won Dortmund 4-0, we went to Dortmund Stadium and they just slept off. They were like dozing off on the stadium. They weren't how they played that first leg. And I feel like if they want to win the Champions League, they should make sure that they are very, very active and they make sure that they win. They make sure. Sorry, I beg cut.
Yeah.
So they just make sure that they actually know what they are doing in that first leg against Inter Milan and make sure that they do not slip off against them, because Inter are very deadly. Like you said, Inter are very, very deadly and they have exceptional players. Lautaro Martinez is this type of player that won't give you any chance. When he gets the ball, he plays aggressive, and they have exceptional players too, like Barella, Di Marco, who is the left back, and their goalkeeper Jan Sommer is actually decent. So for Barcelona to actually win Inter, we have to make sure that we are very lethal up front and we are very compact defensively, and that's how we should win.
Let me put on a spot before I go to Toby. First leg, call it Barcelona Inter. Who's going to your scoreline? Who's going to win?
Scoreline?
Yeah.
Barcelona to win.
Scoreline
3-0.
Against a decent Inter Milan side.
I don't care. Like, we are that clinical.
Well, they're playing against one of the best defenders in the Champions League.
I know, but they've lost 3-0 to AC Milan, who are not that good. And they've lost to Bologna and Roma.
You look like this season, AC Milan is their boogie team. Across board, this season, AC Milan
they've lost like more than 3 games to AC Milan this season. But regardless, we have that little power of scoring 3 goals against them.
So we call it Barcelona Inter scoreline. Or before you say the scoreline, just in 60 seconds, tell me where the game will be won. And of course the scoreline.
First, let me start with the scoreline. I don't expect so much goal difference between both teams. So I'm assuming maybe, like I said earlier, it's most likely going to be a both team to score game. So I'm expecting maybe 2-1, 3-2, 3-1. I don't expect the goal difference to be that much for the first leg. And then regarding both teams, so I just want to chip into something he said that Flick needs to prioritize Champions League. Well, you see that treble thing is very, very risky to think about, because the team that Flick won the treble with, that Bayern Munich squad, you can't compare it to what Barca has right now. They had so much experience, so much quality, so much squad depth, unlike this current Barca that still has injury issues to deal with. So I think that would one-way tell in this semi-final. Whoever wins the semi-final between both sides, to me, has a higher chance of winning the Champions League, because I kind of feel like this is like the title deciding tie, Barcelona against Inter Milan. Because if Barcelona should go ahead, I just pray Balde is going to be available in that final, because I'm hoping that it's going to be against Arsenal, and you can't keep a certain Gerard Martin against Saka. No, that is nowhere accepted. But I just think that you see this semi-final between Inter is going to be a very, very, very rough game, because it's going to look as if Inter is coming to kill Barcelona players. Like, I expect an injury. If there's no injury in the first leg, there's going to be an injury in the second leg. So I'm just looking at which particular player will get injured, because I know a passer player will definitely get injured.
Thank you, Charles, and of course, Toby coming on board for the Champions League Digest. Confident Barcelona fan. Of course, let's see how it pans out for Barcelona. They look like they are good on paper, based on form. For Inter Milan, anything can happen. We don't know the kind of form, like Toby said, Inter is going to bring on board against Barcelona. For Barcelona, they'll be exceptional. Copa del Rey final win against Real Madrid is a confident booster for them. But on and on, let's see how that one will pounce out. The first leg ahead of us. Thank you guys for coming to the studio, Toby, and of course, Charles. We have you on board much later in a subsequent edition. Thank you guys for coming. You guys can continue to watch us on our YouTube channel, Puja. I said, like you guys know, my name is Sulaiman Adebayo. One of us call me Puja. Like I always say, the higher the lyrics, the higher the expected return. May our tickets be green. Bye for now.